Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? You love me. I love you back. Good morning, good morning. So, anything interesting happening this morning? Yes, I saw the news. I saw the news. So, we'll wait for a few more people to get on, and then we'll talk about Rex, and we'll talk about Kanye. Yeah, T-Rex. Yes, I worried that things would get less interesting once the election was over, but uh, I think it's a little less interesting, but it's still really good. I got my coffee. I've had. I started work at 3 this morning, so had a lot of coffee already. All right, so we got enough people here. Um, so I think you all have seen by now that Kanye West met with Donald Trump today, just moments ago apparently, at Trump Tower. Some of you know that I've been saying for some time that Kanye too is a master persuader. Now, I think it's too early to say that Kanye is going to become the next president. But I will tell you, I will tell you that if you count him out, you're really, really missing it, because that set of skills that Trump has, what I call his talent stack, which is the combination of talents which individually are just really good, but they're not maybe world class. Uh, if Yeah, so if you combine enough of those talents, and that's what Trump does, and it's what Kanye does, you end up getting something amazing. So Kanye, I think, is literally IQ-wise, I think he might be a genius, but he acts like a genius, and that's something I noticed a long time ago. So here's what I think is going on. Obviously, Kanye needs to repair his image a little bit because of the hospital stay. And if you could think of a better way to do it than this, I sure can't. This was just PR gold, branding. This is just branding genius to do this now. Because what it does is it takes all of the attention off of his hospital stay. Not all of it, of course, but it moves a lot of that energy into this newer, more interesting, more optimistic notion of him meeting with Trump. Now, if you ask me what they were talking about, it's possible that the meeting itself was the only reason for the meeting, just so the public could see Trump being nice to an African American man, and they could see Kanye meeting with the president like he's political and important. So both of them had a lot to gain just from the photo op. And in fact, Kanye even said, "I'm just here for the pictures," which was funny in and of itself. Uh, But here's my guess. So you remember that Kanye, before he went in the hospital, said some positive things about Trump, which probably caused the entire planet to, vomit on him for selling out the side that they imagined he was on, which was Clinton's side. Now, if you're Kanye and you want to build some credibility in this political realm, and let's say that you don't want to take a job as in the cabinet or something, what would you do? Well, I'll tell you what I would do. I would say, Mr. Trump, your biggest problem is that half of the country is afraid of you or whatever. So I think you talked to him, tried to get a feel for him. And I think that Kanye is going to be an important voice toward getting people to accept Trump as an innovator and not a racist crazy person. So I think Kanye offered his services. If I had to guess, I would say that the point of the meeting was for Kanye to say, "Donald Trump, how can I help?" I think. Uh, Now, remember, I'm not sure if I said this on Periscope or somewhere else, but One of the things I started hearing even before the election, just in anticipation of a potential Trump presidency, is that people were already talking about feeling more connected to the government, feeling more participative, feeling more entrepreneurial. And I think there's something about Trump that brings that out because he's an entrepreneur. So I think there's this tremendous optimism, at least with half of the country. And I think that you're seeing people like Kanye and people like me, to a lesser extent, getting involved in trying to make the country great again because it feels like we have that flexibility now. It feels like we can actually make a difference. It wouldn't feel like that with a regular presidency. So I suspect we'll never know what they talked about, but I think he probably, yeah, Kanye could win even at his height because he's got so much other stuff going on. I don't have a Christmas tree. I skipped decorating this year. Christine is decorating. That's good enough for me. So let's talk about Rex Tillerson. So I don't know much about him. I assume that he's qualified, or else he wouldn't have been selected. But there is something smart, it seems to me, about having a businessman president and a businessman or a business person, let's say. Let's take the gender out of it. A business person who's Secretary of State. I mean, it's really signaling that America's open for business and we're planning to make some deals. And if you had just a regular, imagine if the Secretary of State was just a standard politician, and then Trump wanted to make deals. It would be kind of hard because the Secretary of State wouldn't really get it. But I think you would see that Tillerson will see Trump negotiating and see the things that he does that are part of negotiating, and he'll recognize it as what it is. So he'll somewhat automatically be able to play along and support that. I think regular politicians are just going to say, my God, why did Trump tweet that? Why is he, giving a sharp elbow to China on his first week? Why is he doing all these things? And I think if you're a politician, you can't understand any of it. But if you negotiate for a living and you negotiate big deals with major players and you do that, for years and years, like Tillerson apparently has done, you kind of recognize what a negotiation looks like. So it's probably a really good combination of talents. Now, it's way too early to judge any of this because I don't know anything about Tillerson. Oh, I do know that he's trained as an engineer. I've been saying for years that one of the advantages that China has is that a lot of their leadership were trained as engineers. And if you look at China, if there's one thing that would, I guess, give you the quickest read on China, like what's the quickest way you could describe their leadership? I think you'd say it's pragmatic. They're not dogmatic. They're just doing what works. And if something works, they'll do it. And if something doesn't work, they'll try not to do it. And engineer, right? So China actually, in their governing, they govern a little bit like engineers. Yeah. And China does a really good job managing this, huge, sprawling country that must be about the hardest thing you could possibly manage. So I like engineers in the government, is what I'm saying. China is all process. All right, so if I had to give you the odds of Kanye winning next year or the next election, I would say that's low because he's too young and he hasn't taken a run at it yet. If he's serious, he'll run this next election, or at least put his name in for the nomination. And by the way, if he ran as a Republican, he would probably win. I'm not sure I can imagine that happening. But Kanye West, if he runs as a Republican, he could probably win. I can't imagine that would happen, but mayor of Chicago. Huh. Never be president because of mental health issues. It's possible. But, that too is changing. I think the world's attitude about mental health is very different than it was in the Tom Eagleton era, if you're old enough to remember that. I think today somebody could um, admit to some mental health problems and say, yeah, but I took this drug and now I'm fine. Uh, yeah, Lincoln was infamous for depression. Yeah, I think it's not the obstacle it used to be, but it certainly is a negative. People with depression are more realistic. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Well, no, I would think that depressed people are unrealistic in the other direction, thinking things are too bad. Yeah, I'd love to see Kanye having some role in the nation. Maybe not officially in the government, but let's see what he can do. You know, I'd love to see him use his skills in some way that's just positive for the country. Build up a little bit of a portfolio of accomplishment before the next election. Yeah, I don't think Secretary of Rap, ambassador to Mad Rhymes. I don't know if anybody's going to get 95% of the African American vote, unless they are African American. Kanye, urban planning. Yeah. Yes, I am in it for the lulz. Inauguration issues, I don't know about that. Yeah, what about Katrina? Katrina Pearson. Why is she not already in some kind of a good administrative job over there? So, one of the things that I told you a long time ago is that if you're being accused of being a racist, as Trump was, the single best thing you can do to reduce that impression is to physically touch the people that everybody says you don't like. Because you can say things that are lies and you could be convincing if you're good at it. But you can't really touch people in an unconvincing way. You can't actually touch their body and, you know, and not look awkward. All right. You have to sort of mean that. So you saw Trump, giving Kanye the manly handshake and the half hug. Um, and that's sort of important. You just want to see him. You want to see them touching, frankly, because it's the one thing you can't fake. To defeat an enemy, make him your friend. That's one way to do it. Uh, Trump is protecting Kanye. In what way? They've been friends for a while. Maybe it's possible they knew each other. Yeah, it's really interesting the whole Jay-Z Kanye thing. Um, it's hard to imagine that they're gonna become friends again anytime soon, unless they already are. You know, maybe they're just already over it. All right, I got to go back to writing my comic strip here. But I had to sign on for a minute and just acknowledge the Kanye West meeting with Trump because that could not be more entertaining. Show you behind the curtain? Which curtain do you mean? Trump. All right. You want to see my gear for drawing? I'll do that in another session. Well, I predicted that Kanye was a master persuader and that he was serious about running for president and that he would do better than people think. So that was my prediction. I didn't really predict that Kanye would have a meeting with Trump. That just sort of looks like I did. But that's what made it funny. It was so close to home. Yeah, I blame the Russians for everything. You look very tired. Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, oh my God, I do look tired. Yeah, I got up at 3 this morning. Why do I get so many views? Oh, thank you. Why that early? Um, I got a text message that woke me up, and I just stayed up. Bill the cat. Do you need to blame for any of this? I doubt it. How much sleep do I normally get? Um, in the 4 to 6 hour range, usually. Do I know Brooke Breathed? I met him once, but we didn't have any time to chat. Do I take naps? Sometimes, not often. 5 to 6 hours, is that enough? Probably not. But, I mean, I am drawing a comic strip and blogging and writing a book and helping to run a startup at the moment. So I got a lot to do. I need a lot of time. Plus these periscopes, they don't make themselves. If you treat a girl as if she is attracted, will she start acting that way? There's something to that, but it's not strong enough to change somebody's mind. By itself, it wouldn't be enough, no. But does it help? It might. In some situations, I can imagine that just pretending someone was your girlfriend would actually cause them to start thinking that way. It wouldn't be my go-to strategy, but I see what you're getting at there. I don't know about Ivanka running. I'm not sure she wants that in her life. Oh, thanks for ordering my book. St. Pablo, huh? I haven't heard his latest. What about ignoring women beauty to get the girl? You know, I think if you want to do the pickup artist stuff, there are better sources for that than me. Not that I couldn't tell you. It's just that I don't want that to be my channel, if you know what I mean. Um, I believe I am relatively capable of giving you good advice in that area, persuasion-wise. But there are people who do that full time. So I would read one of their books. Yes, my girlfriend is smoking hot. By the way, have you seen her latest picture uh, on Instagram? You know, it's crazy. Obviously, I look at my own girlfriend all the time, but the picture she just posted on Instagram, her name is Christina Basham, Christina with a K, if you want to look her up. Basham is B as in boy, Asham. But if you look at the latest picture, the one she just put up there, it's probably one of the best pictures I've ever seen in my life. It's just crazy. It's like so, there's just a lot of levels happening there. Um, you're too married to look at pics like that. But that one, I made it my home screen on my phone because it was so crazy. HRT. But, be nice. Will you do persuasion advice for lawyers getting to reasonable doubt? Well, lawyers have very similar backgrounds. Lawyers learn how to persuade. We've been seeing each other just in 2016. So this summer we got serious. I have 0 speaking engagements booked, so no. Was Aristotle the original persuasion master? You know, I haven't read enough of him to have an opinion on that. My guess is no. I think he was more of a logic kind of a guy, which is not very persuasive. Nope, 0 speaking engagements. I think I could do ASMR pretty well. My Instagram has more selfies than you expected. You know, I don't really know what to do with Instagram because I don't look good in a selfie and I don't want to take pictures of my food. I don't know what to do with it. So you can see there's only 1,000 users on there, 1,000 followers. Why do you have sinus troubles? Um, well, do you mean because I sound stuffy? I just have allergies. That's my only problem. No, actually, weed makes the allergies go away. If you hear me stuffed up, that means that I am not high. um, you know, 2 bongs will make my allergies go away along with my asthma at the same time. I am the Dilbert creator. I'm just allergic to usual seasonal whatever weeds. Yeah, don't take any weed for your asthma because I'm sure there are different types of asthma and there's different types of weed and there's different types of human beings. So if you take my advice, you're likely to die. So it's not advice. So don't take any medical advice from cartoonists on Periscope. But that said, for some types of people, and I'm one of them, smoking weed completely eliminates my asthma. but don't try it, because you're going to freaking die if you try taking somebody else's medical experience and applying it to yourself. Take your medical advice from doctors, not from cartoonists. The reason for that, if you're wondering why it's even remotely possible that putting smoke in your lungs would help your asthma, it's because the smoke is a what's the word? Vasodilator. So the thing you want to do when you're trying to deal with your asthma is to open up, to dilate your pores or whatever the hell it is. And weed does that for your whole body. I am 59. It works for you as well. For asthma, you mean? Opens your blood vessels. Yeah, I think that's the right term for that. Yeah, I don't know how many people I've killed with my Periscope medical statements, but don't take my medical advice. It's not advice. Capillaries. Bronchodilator. I haven't tried the keto diet. Sam Harris despises Trump. I've heard that. Simpson's oil. I never heard of that. Would I take a speaking engagement? Depends. Depends on the details. I don't know where Sam Harris lives. What's your college? Sam is my neighbor. Oh, he's near LA. Well, I'm not near LA. Delaware Tech. That seems like a long ways away. How many income streams do I have? Good question. So there's the comics, there's the books, the Dilbert books, there's the Dilbert calendars. So those are roughly licensing, publishing revenues, but they're separate. There's the non-Dilbert books, and there's speaking when I'm doing speaking, but I'm not. In the past, there have been lots of separate licensing deals, but I closed down my licensing because I didn't enjoy it. I don't have any plans to go to the inauguration. And you'll pay for the plane ticket? I'm very expensive. You wouldn't want to pay my regular fee. Any real estate? Yeah, I have some, but that's just coming online right now. Other stock investments. Oh yeah, I have a portfolio of stocks and bonds, but so I guess you could call the municipal bonds have an income stream as well. The Dilbert comic cartoon on television lasted 2 half seasons, so it was 13 episodes each for 2 seasons in a row. I do have an official Dilbert page, Facebook page. The Dilberito did not work out for a variety of reasons. Hey, thanks for reading my book. I appreciate that. Divert? Oh, Dilbert. You mean Dilbert? Yes, passion is overrated. I do get residuals from my writing and producing work on the Dilbert TV show. A typical residual check So the residuals, they decrease every year. So you get the most, the year you do it, and then, half as much the next year or whatever. But after a few years go by, your checks are literally, $3. So, so a monthly payout to me in royalties for the Dilbert animated show that's on television might be for a whole month, $14, for example. That could be my entire revenue for the comic that used to be on TV. The penny checks, yeah, I've got a lot of those. Yes, I was on Joe Rogan's podcast recently. There's no longer an official Dilbert store now. You won money on the election? It must have been a lot of money if you want to invest it. I can't give you any investment advice, nor can anybody else. I mean, diversification is the only investment advice. So you just got all the advice that anybody really needs. So diversify. All right, I really got to get working. I'd rather do this all day, frankly, but I'm going to have to go work. Persuasion in fifth grade. Ugh. Persuasion in fifth grade signals a very difficult child to deal with. All right, I'm out.